What's up, residents? It's Alistair back once again to discuss some more Minus One goodness. Obviously, the trailer for Monarch Legacy of Monsters had just come out, and there's plenty to talk about in regards to that. But for now, let's go over the Minus One news. And there's some pretty cool stuff here. We have a brand new teaser for Godzilla Minus One, and it looks just amazing. Godzilla looks really menacing. But we have so much news to go through, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Screen A magazine in Japan, has revealed a new poster for Godzilla Minus One, and he looks terrifying. Basically, we get a view of him as if we're looking up, and he looks really imposing. It really gives the impression that this Godzilla is enormous, which is funny because this one is actually smaller than most of the recent iterations. As you can see, its design is an iteration on the Godzilla 4D ride from a few years ago. But in my opinion, this is so much better. It's really been improved in pretty much every way. The feet are still pretty big, but they are way smaller than the ones from the ride's design. The skin texture is a lot more rough and mutated. Its face has been modified so it doesn't have such a small jaw. It looked a little bit like a Muppet before. This poster especially gives you a better look at those elbow claws. It feels a bit like something that'd be used in combat, wouldn't it? But as far as we know, there's no other monsters that are going to feature in Godzilla Minus One. Although, that might not be true. We'll discuss that a bit later. Right now, let's just gore at this design a bit more. In the background, you can see what looks like an atomic bomb with ash and fallout falling from the sky. But this could very well be the aftermath of Godzilla's atomic breath, because we've seen how devastating it can be in one of the shots from the trailer. This may be after that scene where we see what looks like an atomic bomb going off right in front of Godzilla's face. And if this actually is following from that explosion, it tells us he's gonna walk away from it with not even a scratch. I'm really liking the imagery here. It really harks back to the 1954 original. And if the VFX is as good as what we see here, I think we're in for a treat. I know some people have been worried that it's not going to look quite realistic enough, but from the clips we've seen, I think people are going to be very happy. I think it's worth noting that this Godzilla doesn't really seem to have a gut. I know a lot of people have had problems with the American Godzilla, calling it Chubbyzilla or Fatzilla or whatever nonsense. So I really hope no one's going to come along and say this is a Fatzilla, because it's obviously not. And if you made it any thinner, then how is it even Godzilla at that point? Overall, this is a great design, and I really can't wait to see more of it. I really expect a trailer to come quite soon, so be sure to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today to not miss out on all that Minus One goodness. But that's not it in regards to news. It's actually been announced that Godzilla Minus One will be playing in Screen X. If you don't know what Screen X is, then think of it like this. You get a screen in the front, which is obviously your standard projection, but on the left and the right side of the screen, they will be an extension of the film, so you'll actually get a better look at some of the stuff that other people would miss. It's pretty cool. I mean, I've never actually been to one. I know Jacob saw the Meg on it, and he said it was pretty good, but I mean, from these clips, it looks a little bit like a gimmick. But I mean, if you can see more Godzilla, then win-win, I guess. And since Beyonce has gone and taken every IMAX screen, it's kind of a take it or leave it kind of situation. I mean, it looks cool. I'll probably check it out if it comes to the UK. Now, we actually have two new teasers to go through, and the first one is just amazing. In the first shot, we see Godzilla walking towards us in a recently decimated Tokyo. Like, residents, this is just mind-blowing. This is the exact kind of film I've wanted for years. Like, look at this. This is some apocalyptic stuff. Godzilla is finally being a real threat again. I don't know if there's any characters actually looking up at Godzilla at this point. I feel like anyone in the area would be dead, so I think this is probably after he's killed everyone? We get some more shots of Godzilla destroying Tokyo, and this new shot of a top-down angle as Godzilla seems to walk towards the crowd that were running away from him in those first trailers. And as he walks past, his thick thighs crash into the Tokyo clock tower.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
Next up, we get to look at him using his tail to slam a building, which I think is connected to that shot of the reporters falling off the building. Now, next up is really interesting because we actually see one of Godzilla's dorsal plates grow out of him, which makes me feel a bit weird. But it's really interesting because what's going on here? Is he mutating on the spot, or is this going to be the first time he uses his atomic breath? And this is what happens when he charges it up, where all the dorsal plates kind of come out of him. I think this just might one-up the Monsterverse atomic breath charge. That was awesome, but this is really different. Next up, we get a better look at him walking towards the train tracks, which we saw from the documentary a few days earlier. I love this shot. He just looks great, and as you can see, he's not very tall. Recent reports say he's around 50.01 meters tall, which is 0.01 meters taller than the original 1954 Godzilla, which is random but cool. I really like seeing a smaller Godzilla. You don't really need a tall Godzilla when all these other buildings are smaller than him, so I'm really excited to see that. And here, this looks amazing. Godzilla charging up his atomic breath in the water. Perhaps this is connected to the scene where he blows up that Japanese destroyer, and we see our characters are screaming, but what are they screaming at? And to be fair, it's Godzilla! Yeah, oh my god, this looks great. They're shooting at him with a machine gun, and I don't think that's really going to do much because he's got his eyes on them. I don't know what's going on here, but this just looks great. I've never seen this kind of thing from a Godzilla film, and I never knew I needed it. I know that the director Takashi Yamazaki was a Monsterverse fan, and we know Godzilla vs. Kong has quite a few Jaws references, so I'm glad to see him honoring the Monsterverse one way or another. Because this looks like what would happen if you combined Godzilla and Jaws. It just looks terrifying, but so fun. Now the next shot is even better, maybe, because we see Godzilla, who appears to have been scorched by something, potentially the atomic bomb from the first trailer, and he doesn't really look unhappy or angry. If anything, he looks really happy, as if he's like, yeah, now what are you gonna do? He just looks great. If anything, this reminds me of the scene in Godzilla vs. Kong where Godzilla smiles when he shoots Kong with his atomic breath. More Godzilla smiling, please. And next up, we get a shot that's actually reminiscent of the poster we just discussed about. Godzilla roaring at the sky as the mushroom cloud from what I think is the atomic bomb rises into the sky. Although since Godzilla is nowhere near the mushroom cloud, this could be the aftermath of his atomic breath. He roars into the sky as the title card comes up, Godzilla Minus One. And oh my god, it looks so good! But these teasers are interesting because they really only seem to show the first half of the film. So what are they hiding? Well, we actually have another TV spot that was revealed for Godzilla Minus One. But before you get excited, it's pretty much just the same clips we've seen over and over again since the first teaser. But that's interesting, because why are we just seeing the same clips over and over again? It makes it seem like Toho is hiding something. Like there's something in the second half of the film that they can't really show in the teasers because it's going to be such a huge surprise. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is just hinting more and more that we're going to see another Godzilla in the film. I mean, just look at this Godzilla. It looks like it's designed to fight other monsters. And if the leaks have anything to say about it, what we're gonna get is a more natural, unmutated Godzilla that comes out of the ocean to try and bring back its mutated, vengeful brother, who's currently on a path of destruction to flatten Japan because of the atomic bomb that was dropped on Tokyo. The atomic bomb that mutated him beyond recognition. So I really hope we get to see two Godzillas going at it. Not in that way. So yeah, I mean, it really feels like Toho's being secretive about something, but what do you think it is? Let us know in the comment section down below. Now, before I go, I just have a bit of a rant to make because obviously the Monarch Legacy of Monsters trailer came out very recently, and we were really excited for it. We actually saw the trailer about a day early, so we were like, oh, this is their chance to really go big, to really get a huge audience to get interested in this new Godzilla series. So when the embargo lifted at about, 12 o'clock, they didn't upload the trailer. It was just unlisted, which means you can watch it if you have the link, but it's just not publicly available on YouTube. So basically everyone was talking about it, talking about the episodes and hyping it up, but everyone was like, Where's the trailer? I can't find it. And I was like, okay, I mean, maybe it'll go up in the next half an hour. But then, nothing. It didn't come, and days later, it still was unlisted. And it was only getting a few thousand views purely because of people sharing that link. And then IGN basically downloaded and posted the trailer to their own channel, so did a few other places, so it was basically just a free-for-all for this Monarch trailer. And me and Jacob just couldn't fathom what was going on. This was their big chance to get a new audience, and they just didn't upload the trailer till yesterday, I believe. And instead of having, I don't know, tens of millions of views, as it should do, because it's a good trailer, it has, I think, 200,000, maybe 250,000 by now, and instead IGN has gone and I think has 2 million views. But because of Apple's following, it would have had so many more views over on their channel. So I have no idea why they didn't just upload it on the Friday. What's funny is that on the Friday they changed the banner on their YouTube channel and started this Monarch viral marketing campaign on Twitter, which shows they were gonna upload the trailer on that day, and that, I don't know, someone at Apple just forgot to make it public. Honestly, it's so baffling. If this hurts the Monarch show, then I'm gonna be very disappointed, because it is a really good show. Both Jacob and I have watched the first episode, and it really is great. So I'm just annoyed because it feels like we could have had a really big opportunity where we get as many eyes on the Monarch trailer as possible. But right now it still feels like, I don't know, only a few people are talking about it. I don't know, maybe it'll change. I really hope so, because it is great. But that was just my little ramble. I really hope Apple can turn this thing around and get as many eyes on this as possible, because it really deserves it. Are you hyped for Godzilla Minus One and Monarch Legacy of Monsters? Let us know in the comment section down below. And be sure to give this video a Kong-sized thumbs up to let us know what you want to see more of. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you, residents, in the next one.